Hello and welcome to a Let's Play of Gothic 2. Another blind Let's Play, and I'm playing this pretty much directly after finishing Gothic 1. Not much to say about it, so let's get to the business.
A single prisoner altered the fate of hundreds, but he paid a high price for it. He defeated the Sleeper, destroyed the barrier, but while all the other prisoners escaped, he remained behind in the rubble. It was I who dispatched him against the Sleeper. Now it is I who brings him back from there. He is weak and has forgotten much, but he is alive. He's back.
There you are again. I never thought the two of us would meet again.
I feel like I spent 3 weeks lying under a load of rocks.
Well, so you did. Only the magic within your armor kept you alive. I had feared I might not be able to rescue you from the debris of the temple, but enough of that. You're here now. There's a new threat that we have to deal with.
The game is not Gothic 2 specifically, it's Gothic 2 Gold. And the difference is that it already includes an expansion pack to this game. It's important in the sense, but because the expansion pack is integrated in the game already, and it alters the rules a little bit. Just a heads up more. So direct continuation of the first game, pretty much. My guy and looks pretty much exactly the same. The game looks pretty much exactly the same. I think the graphics have been upgraded a little bit, but more or less it looks the same.
After the fall of the barrier and the banishment of the Sleeper, Beliar's wrath has grown even greater. A mighty artifact, so it is written in the old scriptures, will be brought back to this world when the god of darkness sends his henchmen out to search. This search has long since begun. Beliar's henchmen are desecrating the oldest shrines of the gods. The guardians of these holy places have awakened, and their wrath makes the earth tremble. Every powerful magician on this island could sense this wrath. And some of them have certainly begun to face the threat. You must become their ally. That's the only way to stop Beliar.
That was, I think, an introduction to the expansion pack content. So,
At least we have enough time now. I did it. The sleeper
Has been banned. You vanquished him, so much is true. But it's not within our power to stop the war that ensues now. With his final furious scream, the sleeper has set into movement the armies of darkness. It was an order to all evil creatures, a word of power that they were all bound to obey. His last order was, "Come," and they came, all of them, even the dragons.
Dragons?
They are creatures of an ancient power. I can sense their presence, even here. And they have gathered an entire army of lowly servant creatures around them.
Where's this army now?
The army is camped not far from here, in the Valley of Mines near Corinus, and they're getting ready to attack. We do not have much time left.
okay.
I need weapons.
I can only give you whatever little I have here. Look around in my tower. Anything that looks useful to you, you can have.
Well, that's at least for once we got permission to do what we were going to do anything anyway. Basically loot everything that isn't nailed down.
What can we do?
This time we cannot handle it by ourselves. Only the power of Innos will help us against these dragons. A group of paladins is stationed in the city of Corinus, not far from here. They possess a powerful artifact which could help us to defeat the dragons. They call it the Eye of Innos. You need to get hold of this artifact. Tell the paladins about the threat. You must convince their leader to support us. And once you have talked to him, you need to find the artifact of Beliar. It is the counterpiece to the Eye of Innos. It must not fall into the hands of evil.
Details.
What exactly is the Eye of Innos?
It's an amulet. Legend has it that Innos himself was poured part of his power into this amulet. It will restore some of your lost strength and help us defeat the dragons. It also has some other hidden powers. I shall tell you more about that once the amulet is yours.
Why would the paladins give me the Eye of Innos?
Because you are the one who is destined to wear it.
How can you claim to know that?
There are a number of reasons. The most important being, you have defeated the Sleeper. If you weren't a favorite of the gods, you'd be dead by now.
Let's assume you're right and I'm destined to bear the Eye of Innos. How would the paladins know that's true?
The eye itself chooses the one who may wear it. Once you get hold of it and put it on, the paladins cannot doubt your words any longer.
So basically, just get the amulet through any means necessary, and the rest will take care of itself.
How can I get to the city?
Just follow the path from here through the mountains. The city is large. You cannot miss it, but watch out. The path to town is not without dangers, and you aren't nearly as strong as you once were.
I'll be on my way as fast as I can.
Good. And one more thing. Don't tell anyone that you've talked to me. Above all, don't tell any magician. Since I have gone into exile, the Circle of Fire has taken me for dead, and that's a good thing.
Chapter 1. The Menace. Why is there a big picture of Zardoz there? He's the Menace, apparently. Yeah, we're back to level 0. With 0 experience points, 0 learning points, 10 in all attributes, 40 hit points. No protection, no skills, no nothing. So basically, we got jack shit. Too far away. Healing potion ingredients. Requires a laboratory flask and an alchemy bench. Brew any potions that effect permanent changes to the body or spirit. You need certain plant. King Sorrel. Yeah, that's also something that's already mentioned in the manual to the game. Old stone tablet. Grey stone tablet.
I can't read that.
Okay. Far away.
What with?
Sometimes they increase. There's yeah, that's a nice improvement. In the first game, it was just the guys just shrugged if it didn't succeed in using some of those. Here it tells you why. What's the problem? Are you too far away? Do you lack something? Either way, very useful. Another thing that you immediately notice is that the controls are much better in this game. They're basically the same, but a lot of the extra has been taken out. Rebranch.
What with?
Yeah, stove. Using things is just a simple click at this point instead of a kind of a loaded combination of clicks and direction pushes. I did notice that combat is a bit different. You wouldn't notice from looking at here. You have the back and forth basic swings. And then the forward combination sort of thing. The difference is that it's not performed in it's performed in a different way. Basically, most of the actions have their separate buttons. The forward attack and the both side attacks all come from different buttons. I'm not quite sure if it's better or not yet. It's better in the sense already that there's no confusion, probably less chance of things getting stuck in combat, hopefully at least. And the game world looks richer, I could say. More vegetation, some trees aren't totally static, there's a little bit of movement according to wind, I guess. And it's a simple thing that what makes the world looks quite a bit more alive. Statue of Beliar. Yeah, probably don't want to create it. Way of Battle. I've looked through these books earlier. They're basically the sort of tutorials. Similar things that you can read from the manual game. Yeah, overall description of the island, some enemies, basically what skills you can learn in the game, and that's sort of like, yeah, extract teeth, skinning, extract claws, and why would you want to do that, what creatures you can do it to, and that sort of thing. So nothing really all that important. Go light lockpick, dagger. Heavy branch is better, but then we already also have the stats for it, so why not use it? I think it's not sure if it's a one-hand weapon or two, but since we don't have any skill in any weapon anyway, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, finally. So let's exit. Let me find something else here. One other thing that was pretty clearly told in the menu is that there is a guild choice in this game too. In the first game it was the sort of a old camp, new camp, or a brotherhood camp of the swamps. Here it's not just an organization thing, it's more of a class. So it's I think paladin, mercenary, and wizard of fire. Torch, gold, and heal light wounds, 2 fireball scrolls. Scrolls are 5 mana to use. All of them. We have 10 naturally, so we can use at least a couple. As I said, I've given a little bit of thought about the class. In the first game, I guess I more or less started to want to play some kind of a caster, but then it became fairly obvious that fighter is really the thing to go, and we used casting abilities mainly as in support function. No real range combat, as in bows. I'd like to play a little bit differently this time. At least the manual assures me that, or no matter how you play, they at least try to balance the classes, so you should be able to handle things no matter which class you go with. I do know simply from playing the first game that magic in these games is not something that you can rely 100%. You have to be able to do melee combat, no matter what your class is. It's just mandatory, I guess. I guess if you could really put your effort in it, you might be able to do it some other way. But it's exactly that. It requires. It's not how the game is really meant to be played. Basics of melee combat are such fundamental things that everyone should know how to do them. And if we're going, I'd like to get magic again this time. So it doesn't make much sense to have magic and ranged combat, as in bows, because then you can only do one or the other before things devolve into melee combat again. So melee plus range or melee plus magic seems more sensible. I do, in a way, want to play the same character I played in the first one, but this time the difference would be that we're more heavily magic focused, but we can do the melee thing to some extent. It will have a difference because attributes, at least to my understanding, have a increased cost to raising them this time. So it's not one learning point per one attribute point raised. It'll only function like that to something like 30. Then it'll be 2 learning points per one attribute point, then 3, then 4, then 5. So it becomes increasingly stupid to keep raising attributes. It's just a waste of your learning points. You're much better off to at least sort of branching out a little bit. It's I don't think it's out of your way to focus though, because, for example, I think the strength requirement of certain weaponry will be so high that if you're not specialized, you're very unlikely to get to those strength values. It was also implied very heavily in the manual that it is basically required to use those permanent attribute boosts abilities or potions to reach those levels, which sort of puts I don't like it, because it's a recipe for me to basically try to hold on to them as long as possible, because the attribute rating of attribute points cost increases. So naturally you won't want to use your attributes increasing potions unless you reach basically the point where you don't want to spend any points on them. So it's going to be one of those hoarder type of things, and I don't like them in games usually, because especially here, because the entire mechanic seems to be designed to cater to hoarding. You need to hoard onto ingredients and the potions if you happen to find them until the last moment, where you're basically done raising attributes, and I don't like that. Nothing good can come out of that. But yeah, I guess we're out in the sunshine at least. Blaze looks much better, and it suddenly handles much better too. Everything sort of feels more snappier. A lot of the extra fuss has been moved, and jumping looks ridiculous, but at least it's not the fastest way to move around this time. The running is properly faster. Dagger and Jin. Hello, Bessie. Okay, what can I loot from you? Raw meat. The game is meant to be that we basically murder everything you come across that you can, because otherwise you're not going to get the needed experience and items you need throughout the entire game. So, oh, a wolf. And a goblin. Hey, come get it, bro. Yeah, not too bad. Still took one hit, but that's not bad. And he have a couple of sticks in hand, I suppose. Healing plants look exactly like healing plants from the first game. Ah, yeah, swimming. Guess we'll test that too. Yeah, it seems pretty much the same. Yeah. It's hard to say how the camera behaves here, because it's so shallow, but it seems to at least somewhat follow behind you. And another thing that immediately is noticeable is that when you go to the surface, you actually go to the surface and stick to it. In the second game, I mean in the first goddamn game, you sort of can offer, when you go to the surface, you can sort of, the camera can sort of start plugging out on the surface, or kick you back underwater without you taking a breath of air. So there's a chance of you drowning there. Arrows and a bow. Cool scrolls. So at this point it seems like the control system has basically had the improvement and tweaking I missed from the first game. This is, in theory, it works exactly like this first game, but it's just properly done, much better. So I have a very good feeling about this game. I expect it to be very similar to the first one, except heavy load of the constant annoyances that we have to suffer through in the first game seems to be gone. So makes me very, very hopeful about the future. We'll see though. Maybe this has all kind of other nasty surprises left in store for us. So some kind of goblin cave. Seems to be our first little adventure. It's much more atmospheric with all these branches. Yeah, very, very promising. Oh shit. Okay. Wasn't exactly a spectacular fight on our part, but victory is a victory. A little bit of experience for us. Always welcome.
Nothing to plunder.
Apples. Hit point bonus. Fresh apple, firm and juicy. Mana essence. And a dagger. The experience was the most valuable thing here then. 35 gold. I'm just wondering, is there a faster way to get the gold instead of individual unit at a time? It seems like there should be. Imagine finding hundreds or even 1,000 gold pieces. It'll just pointlessly take a long time to get all of them. There's no reason why, if it's gold, why you shouldn't take every little piece. By the way. First branch done. We might not have enough of life to get all of the branches done. Can heal up and use a potion, but we really want to. There's blood here. I don't think it's mine. There's some kind of gigantic bug there. I don't think I want to go there. Okay. I thought this might be a totally separate little cave system, but clearly it is not. Interesting. Again, it looks quite good. Let's see if we can deal with our insects. Shit, there's 2 of them. Let's give it at least a try. So it's doable, but we could easily die here. And we almost did.
Nothing to be had there. Nothing there.
Ah, dark mushrooms. Potion, scroll, potion, and that's it. Well, a couple of decent healing potions, which basically amount to full life at this point. Mana bonus is in, yeah, it's 500% more than we have capacity for mana. We have Jin, restores hit points and mana. Water, Blue Elder. Yeah, these herbs. I'm probably not going to use any of them because I don't recall what's used for what. In the game, ooh, value, Dragon Root, value 500. These are components for permanent strength boost potions, I think. So, yeah, hold on to it. Belt of Force, strength bonus plus 5, didn't notice that. Fire Arrow, 25 damage. Fireball, 75. That should be an instant death to most early monsters. They have about 40 to 60 points. So probably you should hold on to those. Heal light wounds, healing 200, yeah. And lights. Lockpicks, keys, and lap water bottle. Gold, old stone tab. Okay. At least it looks like we have infinite inventory space. Which I was sort of worried about. Still. See if we can survive back to the tower. We should take a nap. I didn't notice any bed there though. We have the wolf still here and everything. Yeah.
Nothing there.
I don't want to get too heavily sidetracked at this moment. Naturally, we'll go after every monster we can kill. I know from experience from the first game that especially these early levels are incredibly important. We need one weapon hand training as soon as we can manage it. That makes a huge difference. I'm not sure how attributes affect the fighting. I got from the impression that they don't directly contribute to damage. They do when you get critical hits though, so they're not totally useless. Okay. Next morning, and back to full health. So, things are looking fine. A little bit of combat experience. Didn't fail even once, and we did fight quite a few times, so didn't have any problems with the combat system this time. It's not still even amazing, but at least it wasn't bug ridden like the first game one. So again, fairly simple, but this time the experience is much smoother, and good sign for the rest of